This is my first fairy garden. You see the bird bath here with a little bird and a little frog inside. There's a little arch. And over here is a little squirrel. And then once you go through the arch, there's a little pathway to a bridge. There's a little fairy sitting on a bench. And then there's a little gnome house sitting in a pile of sparkly rocks. And there's a little gazing ball. So that's my first fairy house. This is the wishing well that I embellished for my second fairy garden. I added the shingles and the moss and the flowers to the top, and then added some stickers along the sides. Then I painted the sides with different astrological and Wiccan symbols. This one's supposed to be a pentagram, but it looks more like a starfish, which I guess is fine. And also, in the dirt, I buried a little jar because the little bucket actually goes up and down when you turn this little handle. So anyway, I'm going to glue this. Oh, I also added a little rubber gasket along the bottom because wood and dirt don't mix too well, especially if the dirt is wet. So anyway, I'm going to glue the wishing well to the jar, and then that will be a nice addition to my second fairy garden. This is my second fairy garden. Got the fairies sitting on a bench, little cardinal sitting by them. And we've got the gazing ball. Then we have a little tiny miniature deer. Then up the path you see the Amanita muscaria. And then there is the wishing well. I call this my wishing well fairy garden. And that one turned out pretty nice too. So before I put the fairy house into the garden, I want to show you some details of the house, because you won't be able to see them once I get it all together. This started out as a birdhouse. I put popsicle sticks around it and then used gray and white paint to weather it. Inside, the tile is just some paper that I found at Hobby Lobby, and then the rug is a piece of felt that I found at Hobby Lobby. Also, I sprayed some glue in there, and then used glitter. So there's glitter on the walls and on the ceilings. And then you can see the back window that I cut with a hole saw, and then added twigs to make frames. And then, probably can't see it, but I pasted some plastic that I was just packaging plastic. I glued it to the inside so the windows look like they have glass in them. And then I put some shingles on the roof that I dyed, and then added flowers and moss. Oh, and here's a little ladybug that I put on the rose. and I added some birds to the top. And over here is a little bee. And then I made this little counter out of scrap wood and a mesquite branch. And then the basin is a shell, and then the perfume bottle is a bead with some other bead parts on it. And then I made the books, and I bought the flower with the flower pot at Hobby Lobby, but then I just dipped it in some glitter because fairies like glitter. And then I made the day bed out of popsicle sticks and the same mesquite branch. And then I added some moss and a leaf for a blanket and cotton for the pillow. And then I made this bookshelf, and the bookshelf I made with popsicle sticks. And then I added the 3 perfume bottles that are made out of beads and bead parts like the other one is. So those are the things that are going inside the house. And then once they are all inside, this is the door I made. So out of a tulip leaf, and then some more of that glitter paper that looks like tile kind of, and then a doorknob that I got at Hobby Lobby with hinges. So I'll put that all together, and that will be my fairy house. This is my main fairy garden. This is the house. Got a little ladybug on the rose. Have 2 birds on the roof. Over here we have a bee. Got flowers. Then on the deck we have more flowers. A broom, a table with a crystal ball, some chairs, more flowers, gazing ball, then the fence. Then we have a bird bath with some birds. Then we have a hedgehog. We've got a little arch with a hanging basket of flowers. And we have a bench with a pillow, a little pathway with stepping stones. And we have a little pine cone with silver glitter nail polish on it. A little bunny with some Amanita muscaria. A little wheelbarrow with pumpkins. More bunnies. There's some tools. We've got a red wagon with more tools. And a barrel with some apples. And we have a little fairy reading. And a lamp post. Fire pit, little day bed, some more flowers. We have a little seashell sculpture, some mushrooms, a little tea cart, some flowers, some cookies, a silver set, a little magical creature. Then we have a ladder with a cardinal sitting on top of it. We've got a little bee on the roof. Inside we have a little kitty cat in her bed taking a nap. Snake plant. And a chandelier I made with old jewelry parts. We have the fairy with some flowers and guitar and a gazing ball. We have a patio with a bistro set on it. We've got a birdhouse with a little bird. Oh, and then here's a pathway with some solar lights. Then the tiniest little creature of all is a little snail. Let's see if I can get him. Oh, where is he? It's right there. Might be too dark. Oh, there's a little snail. Then we have another little magical creature and a hammock. Here's a hanging lantern. And here's our transportation. We have a little fairy scooter, a little fairy car, and a glittered up bicycle. Over here we have a family of raccoons hanging out. And a little day bed, Amanita muscaria. Over here we have Amethyst Mountain. And this is the Jewel River bridge. And over here we have another little ferry. Here's a ferry. There's some bucks in a den. Then we have a little parrot, a little bird's nest with the bird sitting on her eggs. And over here, next to the day bed, we have a little bird's nest with eggs. I don't know if you can see them or not. There they are. And then we have some little tiny deer. Here's an arbor. Going up the pathway that goes to the bridge. We have a little chameleon sitting on a rock. And there's an umbrella on the beach. We have some pink flamingos, some crabs, starfish. Here's a little sand castle. A fire pit, seashells, starfish, crab. This little frog. It's a seagull. Palm tree with a parrot in it. Here's a picnic table I made with popsicle sticks. And a turtle. Anyway, that's my fabulous fairy garden. Hope I didn't forget anything. I had such a great time making it.